Hello, my name is Adam Winrich, and this video is about my latest Guinness World Record for heaviest whip cracked. Ooh, it's heavy. So I'm going to share with you the exact video I sent to Guinness World Records to have this record verified. First, a big shout out to my latest Patreon supporter on Patreon. His name is Art. If you would like to be as cool as Art and support me on Patreon, you can do it for as little as $1 a month. I will put a link to my Patreon down in the description. So a little bit more about this record. So to get the record, there were 3 things I had to do. First, build a whip over 10 kilograms, which is about 22 pounds. Then I had to have the whip professionally weighed, and then I also had to be able to swing the whip through the air and crack it right after it was weighed. So a little bit about this whip. The handle is a 5-foot steel axle that I covered in braided cowhide. The middle of the whip is an 8-foot logging chain, and then attached to the end of it is a 13-foot German carbacha made out of braided linen or flax rope. And I had a few questions about this record that I got online that I'll answer right now. One of them was, do any of the long whip records count for heaviest whip? So while I think Nathan Griggs' long whip weighs 70 pounds, Guinness does define a whip crack in this record as the whip swinging through the air and making a loud sound. So as far as I know, all of the long whip records had the whip sliding on the ground, so none of them would count for this particular record. Another question I got is about a viral video that came out of a Chinese gentleman, I think he's Chinese, cracking a very heavy chain link whip. So he certainly inspired me to make this whip. But the thing is, with the Guinness World Record, it's my job, or the record holder's job, to apply to Guinness to get the record. So if he has a whip over 27 pounds, he should totally apply for this record, but he doesn't automatically get it if it's more than 27 pounds. All right, so here we go. Here's a video that I sent in to Guinness to have this record verified. All right, here we are attempting the record for heaviest whip cracked. We're at the Wisconsin Department of Weights and Measures. You can see the whip weighs 12,250 grams. And I'll bring the camera back and we'll explain the weighing process and re-weigh the whip.
Paul Masterson. I'm a metrologist at the Wisconsin Weights and Measures Lab, a lab accredited by the National Institute of Standards and Technology. I'm here with Adam to weigh the heaviest whip world record. We're weighing it using a procedure similar to NIST SOP 8, which is a procedure we use to calibrate our own weights for customers. That's substitution weighing. We're basically getting a preliminary weighing of the whip, and then using our own standards to set on the balance, zero it off, and compare it to the whip. Our weights are traceable to the kilogram, the SI units. It's basically been documented through a chain of calibrations all the way up to the official kilogram. So we're going to go ahead and get started with that. Adam, if you would please take the whip off the balance for now. Just for stability of the weighing platform, we tend to walk around the corners of it to redistribute the load outward towards the load cells. So we're going to tare it. So we've paired off a weight similar to the weight of the whip with weights that are traceable to nest. We used a 10 kilogram weight, a 2 kilogram weight, a 200 gram weight, and a 50 gram weight.
Are there any markings on any of those you could hold up closer to the camera as you take them off?
Yeah. Bring them closer to your view.
A little higher. And kind of over here. All right, so that's a 50 gram weight. You can see that since it's coming.
Next is the 200.
A little bit higher. All right, good.
Two kilogram.
2 kilogram weight, yep.
And we'll put the cloth back on when you weigh it so that the cloth doesn't add to.
Oh, yeah, you can see that. That's a 10 kilogram weight right there.
Yep. So since the cloth was zeroed out with the whip, we still need to keep that on the balance.
So now I can put the whip
Now
back on.
it's good to put the whip on. The one last mark, around the balance to redistribute the whip to the edge of the weighting cells. And our reading is exactly to the standards that we placed on the balance. There's zero difference as far as the indicator can tell between the weights that we put on the balance and the whip.
All right, great. So that means, I'll get in the camera. So it was just a recap. So what they did is we took the whip off. We thought it weighed about 12,250 grams. And then, so we took the whip off. They put on that much in weight, zeroed out the scale, and then we put the whip back on the zeroed out scale, which you can see brings it back to zero. So now I just got to crack it. Try and take a shot. Everybody wants to follow me outside. Something else I was going to mention. So this whip, you can see it's got a leather-covered steel handle and a steel chain midsection, and then a woven cord tail on the end of it. Similar in quality, and I'll include more photos of it, or to commercial standard of a Chinese Kung Fu whip, which is also made with a steel leather-covered handle, steel chain midsection, and a cord tail. All right, so now we'll go outside and crack it.
Thank you.
Yeah, about there's good.
Okay.
As you can see, the whip swung through the air and it cracked. We'll go ahead and turn the camera around so you can see our witnesses here. Do you two want to introduce yourselves?
I'm Dave with Wisconsin Management here.
I'm Ryan DePau with the Wisconsin Weights and Measures Lab.
And I'll crack it one more time just for the heck of it.
Okay.
Well, my name is Adam Winrich, and that's my submission for heaviest whip cracked.